If Brexit threatens the idea of a European Union, then America's disdain for NATO presents an existential threat to Europe. This whole nasty episode about the brain death of NATO and Germany's call for a European army raises some serious questions. Is the European Union falling apart? Is a European army even possible or feasible? And what happens to NATO? On Wion Edit, we'll explore these questions. Europe, of course, has its problems. Two of those problems are called Britain and Italy. Britain wants to exit the Union. Italy does not want to follow the rules of the Union. These problems fade in comparison to the threat posed by the US, the threat of uncertain policy and a president obsessed with who pays the bills. And hence the talk of a European army. Did Europe see this coming? Most likely they did. Listen to this. Achieving strategic autonomy was the European Union's stated goal, and this was in the year 2016, 3 years ago. It hasn't happened yet. They have taken some steps, including the setting up of a fund, but it all boils down to the money. Big economies in Europe must loosen their purse strings. If you leave aside the United Kingdom, then the rest of Europe has thrice the population and thrice the defense budget of Russia. So why do they depend on the US? Why don't they build their own defense systems? Two major roadblocks here. Europe is a union only in name. It remains a divided house. And it will take time for them to build their own missile defense systems. So for 70 years, they have been tied to the American security umbrella. And by the way, this plan to set up a European army is as old as 1950. NATO's first supreme allied commander, Dwight Eisenhower, and the then French president, René Plavin, both sought to set up a unified European army, but they haven't been able to convince all sides. Several Eastern and Central European countries do not even believe in strategic autonomy. They want increased military ties, and that too bilateral ties with the Americans. All said and done, Europe must learn to take care of itself. There are no two ways about it. But all this talk of a European army at the moment looks premature and silly because the European Union and NATO are two blocs that really need some serious issues to be addressed first. Are these blocs pulling together in unison anymore? The recent developments in Syria, the contradictions over Iran nuclear deal, and now the opinion that NATO is suffering a brain death all point to one thing, that there are serious issues within these blocs, and several members use issues to continue making the US pay for their protection. So a European army is technically feasible, but do the leaders of the free world have the guts to follow up words with action? Most likely they don't. Not at the moment, at least.